What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. Once more, we have managed to win in a situation where the market reversed. If you guys remember in the previous video, I talked about how if there was one trade that was possible outside of this liquidity sweep before a pump, it would be this order block right here. Entry at the start of the order block, a stop loss at the end of the order block, target for 2R. And this would have been a really nice and clean trade. And it's going to be right here on this order block. And you're going to target 2R at a very minimum. So that's going to, be taking out yesterday's previous daily high, which will make sense. That would be the target for the daily buys trade. And of course, this happened right before the market took a big fat dump and started reversing. So this brings our win rate in April 2025 on public YouTube calls in these videos to 18 wins and 2 losses, which brings the total accuracy of our analyses up to 79.66% with 47 wins out of 59 total calls. So if you guys are new to this channel, you're in the right place because, well, let's just say that I will try my best to maintain this win rate. So in today's video, I'm going to give you guys the update on Bitcoin and what to expect for this week and if the game plan has changed. And we're going to start things off on the weekly chart because this is the start of a new week. Last week's weekly candle closed bullish, although not very. In fact, it tried to push a lot higher, but then it failed. And so this signals to me that we have a potential retracement week before next week gives us continuation. Why do I believe so? We have a interesting fair value gap over here on the weekly chart, which means that even if Bitcoin were to retrace all the way back into 92,000, 94,000, it would still be within the game plan for Bitcoin to ultimately give a continuation in terms of price. So now that we have that in mind, so essentially, based on the last week's candle close, we have a bullish bias, although it is a weak bullish bias. I would not be surprised if we came in to fill this fair value gap first before going higher. And so that is the bias on the weekly chart. Let's see if this is confirmed also on the daily chart. And on the daily chart, based on what we can see here, is that Saturday and Sunday closed pretty bearish, which means that today we should have a bearish bias. So far, the previous daily low has already been tapped, but you are having relatively equal lows right here, as well as over here. That is the fill of the fair value gap. And so I wouldn't be surprised if today we are trading higher just to eventually trade lower. And what's also interesting is that today is a news day. If you take a look at today, Monday, we have USD news, followed by Wednesday and then Thursday, and that's it. So the best trading days for this week will probably fall on today, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Now, when I talk about news, by the way, I am not using news to kind of like predict direction or whatever. There is a saying, or rather, the way that I like to put things is that in trading, you are always dealing with multiple variables, none of which you actually know the exact concrete answer to. One of those variables is direction, right? Is price going up or is price going down? The second one is how far will direction go, right? How far up, how far down? And then the third variable is volatility, right? When will it happen? What time will it happen? And what news allows you to do is that it removes this variable because you already know that if news is happening at 10 a.m., chances are you're going to get volatility during then. All that remains is that you have to predict what is the direction, or rather read what is the direction and how far it's going to go. And so when I say news days are great for trading, that is what I am implying. And so currently today, Monday, is a news day. And given the overall bearish so far, I wouldn't be surprised if today is something like this. At least this is just based on what a higher time frame is telling me. Let's zoom into the lower time frame to see if we can further confirm this. So far we have a couple of relatively equal lows right here, right before the weekly fair value gap. So I would be even less surprised if you were to tap, sweep out these lows, tap into the fair value gap before going higher. What's also interesting to note is that on the daily chart, we had a fair value gap that failed to hold. And currently we are trading within the order block. So this would be potentially the only source of bullishness that could be possible. Like if Bitcoin were to bounce from here, it should bounce from here because this is the order block. But just based on the higher time frame, again, this is why we start the analysis off on the weekly chart and then move it down to the daily. The weekly clearly shows a fair value gap, which means that even if you were to retrace into here, overall bullish momentum will still be respected. This will not invalidate the bullish setup. So taking a look at the 1 hourly chart, now that we are refining things down, let's take a look. Yesterday's kind of closed bearish, and currently you have left behind a couple of fair value gaps. Fair value gaps is one thing. You also left behind bearish order blocks. So at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if you were to retrace to anywhere, like literally this entire block here, going to be an area of resistance for Bitcoin to get rejected by. So starting from $95,000 up to about 95,400, 95,500-ish. I do believe this is where the price is going to, just sweep above. Right now, as of the time that I'm recording this, it's 3 a.m. in London. It's about to be 4 a.m. in New York. Sorry, New York time, not London time. It's about to be 4 a.m. And if you get a fill into at any point here during 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. New York today, Mind you, today news is coming at 10 a.m. New York. So the game plan for today is that if you start filling this area during the New York session and you start showing lower time frame breakdowns in terms of order flow and price action, then you're probably going to be taking a short here, placing a stop loss at the high that forms during the New York session, and then boom, off you go. Maybe you will tap into the weekly family gap today, but chances are it may happen tomorrow or even Wednesday. I have no idea how to predict how far it's going to go, but I can tell you that more likely than not, this is going to be the setup for today. As of the moment, right now, I don't see a really strong bullish setup yet. The trigger that needs to happen in order for us to start flipping bullish is if today's candle closes bullish, and if we are able to trade above this, bearish resistance level that I drew out on the 1 hourly chart. If we're able to do that, then yeah, absolutely, I'll flip my bias bullish. But just one thing to remember is that at the moment, the weekly is pointing towards the upside with some kind of retracement in play, but the daily is currently pointing towards the downside based on yesterday's daily bias. Now, the only thing that will invalidate this is, again, this bullish order block being filled here and the price just starts shooting up. So the trigger, right, the condition for us to flip bullish is going to be for price to actually break above this bearish block here. And so the play for today, right now, there is no play. We have to wait probably to the New York session. If New York fills in this gap here, fills in this bearish resistance here, then what you can look for is a lower time frame change in order flow, as well as market structure shifts or whatever. And you can trade that lower, targeting the current daily low and potentially the weekly family gap at 92,700. It's going to be the game plan for today. And just to explain what I mean when I say a change in order flow, it is quite literally, when you're in bullish order flow, you see bullish order blocks be respected, right? This is entirely a bullish order block, price breaks above it, comes down, respects it, boom, goes up again, right? And at the moment, what you're seeing is that price has just swept out the Asia high. And so you're currently also potentially getting a change in state of delivery. So if you start breaking lower here, then that will be a change in order flow because now you have bearish order blocks start to get respected. And it's as simple as that. So you continue trading it lower. Essentially, a price could also just dump from here straight up. It's just based on the 1 hourly chart, you are not in any sort of point of interest yet. So I would predict that you would go into this block. But the other scenario would just be price, falling from here on outwards because you have just swept the Asia high during the London. For those of you who are not familiar with what's happening at the moment, Asia tends to be accumulation. London tends to be manipulation, right? That's what happens when you manipulate above the highs. That's right. New York tends to distribute towards the lows. And even if you were to manipulate all the way into here, that would be even better because this entire thing here would just be manipulation followed by New York distribution. At least that's the setup that I have in mind today. And again, the criteria that this will get invalidated is if price goes above this block here. And if that happens, then clearly order flow is now shifting bullish and you are just going to start pumping frustrating on upwards. And you're not actually going to fill in the weekly family gap. You're probably not going to sweep out those relatively equal lows. And you know what's even more important? Signing up to the masterclass that is starting in 5 days. Guys, this is a free masterclass. I'm going to be teaching you the 6 skills that you need in order to get funded. This is stuff that nobody really talks about, and yet I'm going to be giving away all of this for free. And no, this is not going to be one of those quote-unquote free webinars where I spend half the time trying to sell you something. This is actually just going to be straight up 2 hours worth of value. There's not going to be any fluff, not going to be any BS. If you're stuck in trading at the moment for whatever reason, I truly think that this masterclass is going to help you fix this. And again, it is absolutely free and it's starting in 5 days. There's going to be a bonus for whoever joins live. And one other thing, in the past few videos, I've had multiple comments telling me that, hey, the people are not able to sign up. Well, the fix is to actually have a Zoom account. When you try to sign up to a Zoom webinar, notice here, we're just leading you directly into a Zoom webinar. Now, if you notice here, when you sign up, you're going to be directly led to Zoom, right? This is how you know you're not getting scammed or whatever, right? It's just in a Zoom event. You actually need a Zoom account in order to register. If you register without a Zoom account, then it's going to tell you that, hey, it failed. And the reason why we're doing this time around is because during the last masterclass, for those of you who were there were a few trolls that came in, did not register for a Zoom account, and they just came in and spammed a whole lot of stuff. And we don't want that happening again. And so if you're having trouble signing up, just sign up for a Zoom account. Literally, you can do this in one click. Just click register. And quite literally, I'm not going to show you how to register here, but super easy to just sign up for a Zoom account. Now, anyways, my friends, masterclass starts in 5 days. Today, I'm about to open up a WhatsApp group for those of you who have already signed up for the masterclass. And if you would like to perhaps speak to me on WhatsApp, get some updates, get some behind the scenes sneak peeks, I'm going to be on WhatsApp. Look out for your email for an invitation to a WhatsApp group. That will be from me. And that's right, that will be from me, okay? You heard it here first. From me, okay? It's not some scam. It's me. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.